with what we have here. So I would call the Planning, Environment, and Development Committee meeting of January 12th, 2026 to order. We have roll call. We have, well, let's just do roll call. Mr. Gadamoller.
Yes.
Mr. Kearns.
Yes.
Mr. Kaminsky.
Present.
And I'm here, so we have a quorum. Could I have a motion to include Dina remotely?
And Carolyn, if actually.
And Carolyn, if she does. Do we need her on before we be able to make that motion or not?
No.
Okay, so include Carolyn in that too, right, Carl? Okay, it's seconded by Jim. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, welcome Dina, and we'll welcome Carolyn if she gets a chance to join us.
I move to approve the meeting minutes from December 2nd.
Okay,
I'll second it.
have a second. Any comments regarding the minutes of the December 2nd meeting? Seeing no comments, we'll go to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Minutes are approved. Public comment, Scott?
We have none?
No public comment. Members' comments? Joe?
Yes. I have to leave here, so I don't know that I'll get to the comprehensive plan. I know it's been revised a half dozen times, and I think I'm okay with where it's at. But I wanted at least let the rest of this board know that they don't have to wait for me to come back here if that's the case.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Okay, no other members' comments. We'll go on to new business. And that's the presentation of the P&D's annual report.
Right.
Adam, you're on, right?
Come on, yes.
Okay.
This is rebooting a little bit here. So I went from one network to another.
Okay.
How long do these please wait wheels go? A little faster. What is there anything between here and either the zoning agenda or the comp plan discussion?
There's the comp plans next.
Yeah, comp plan's next. There we go.
Well, it takes a minute, it takes a minute.
It takes some, it's
Just the
taking
way it
a
is.
thing. There we go.
You can't get too excited. It's a brand new year. Things are gonna screw up.
Might do the same thing.
Then I'm gonna join and then share, is that correct? Yes. Okay. That was why I wasn't getting it, Kathy. It was blocking my access.
Take that as a hint.
Yeah.
Watch out when they block your access to your office.
Yeah, right.
Your key card work?
You get, yeah, paychecks stop coming. Talk about this.
Well, hopefully everybody had a nice holiday.
Oh,
Santa
yeah.
Claus good to you, Jim?
Santa Claus is always good to me.
That's nice to know.
He's got a full.
You got him buffaloed somehow, huh?
I'm a ho-ho-ho kind of guy.
All right. And then we're sharing.
Of course, I'm supposed to reply. How about you?
What, Santa Claus?
Santa Claus.
Santa Claus is always good to me. Yeah, I had a great time. I went to Vegas.
Ah,
He's back, so it wasn't that good a time.
Never even went to the casino. Spent Christmas Day making strawberry jam with my grandson.
Is this live?
did you have to hitchhike that?
Oh, never went in a casino. Made strawberry jam with my grandson.
Ah, that's
Cool.
what the whole trip's worth.
We're up.
You're on.
We're up, we're on. All right, so.
Wait, you need a little drum roll to get started?
Yeah, right, yeah, get in
Okay.
the right mindset. All right, so some foundational items, our operations plan. So for the overview of what we do, development, assist with the development, application and enforcement of the UDO, stormwater management ordinance, building codes, and then the administration of the county's community development programs. It's fun to read, but it's better to see it in our flow charts. So everything in our operations is really represented in what we're doing here. Let's get one of these lights.
There, that's better,
There we
thanks.
go. So on the right side of the screen, you'll see our flow chart. That's really our permitting. So administration, planning, water resources, and building division. The two spots I would really highlight that have been impacted by not only our process updates over the last several years, but by our permitting system, has been our permit technicians. So permit technicians highlighted are gonna be in the dark blue at the very top. They're almost permit managers. Everything that comes in, they make sure it's reviewable. Everything that comes out, they make sure it's suitable for inspection, buildability, all that stuff. And really the quality checks, reliant on them raising the flag, and then the respective divisions to make the corrections, communications, etc., that either uphold to what we talked about in that first screen, the building codes or just the general standards. And then on the left side, community development. We'll talk a little bit more about community development. I highlighted one of those roles, the senior community development specialist. When I got here in 2013, CD had 3 people. We were administering pretty consistently about $3 million worth of entitlement grants. When COVID hit, we were administering about $25 million of grants with very specific administration protocols. We inflated to 10 people. We're right-sizing. So we've come back down, we've eliminated a position back in August, shuffled some things around. The one that's highlighted there, we're aligning with HR to kind of do some more adjustments, and we're gonna lose one of those FTEs and then seek some reclassifications of the other community development specialists. But we're still developing what that plan looks like. But we're gonna go back down to, it'll be 5 in that division, and that's what we believe will be right-sized going forward. So
you're going from 3 pre-COVID,
3 pre-COVID,
10 COVID,
yes,
back to 5.
to 5.
So you're gonna keep 2 of those 5.
Yes. Yeah, and they're not COVID positions specifically. You know, there's nothing that deals with it, but each one of those on the left-hand side in the darker orange administers a specific program. Those programs, you know, whether it's home, CD, CDBG, senior services, and then the COC. So those are the 4 primary ones, and then our administrator oversees and assists with all of them. And then at the bottom there is McSeep. We still coordinate with McSeep. They had a little bit of leadership transition. We're excited about just it's going to be more of the same and better of the good stuff. We've seen this before, but if that was our operations and flow chart of our org chart and all that stuff put into one, this is kind of the department's footprint in the county. So everything up around the peripheral, all those gray bubbles, those are all the departments, agencies, commissions, with county residents and businesses, everybody that we interact with or that we rely on or that we provide services to. Whether that's going out, coming in, comes in through, if it comes through us and then comes through for county board approval, that's where that would flow then down through the department as an element or a product of the department through the respective committee, and then ultimately for the county board to formalize and the cycle continues. Getting into the nitty-gritty. So the annual report itself is triggered by the comprehensive plan. I'm going to talk about the 2050 plan. The 2030 plan calls for it to provide the county board with an update of what have we been doing. So specifically with zoning, what has been coming through in front of the county board? Have the trends been something that we need to pivot? Do we need to look at our development patterns? Do we need to address something in the ordinance? I don't think zoning's been talked about at the county board level this much as it has been, or in this past year, in any other year that I've been here for sure. Solar farms have been dominant. Our petitions in the bright green bars, the total number of petitions are at 94. The last 2 years they've been up. The years before that, we had 56 in 2022. 2023 was kind of a low year, but usually we're at 50, 4 per month that come through to the county board. This year we're at about 7 or 8. Last month we had 14. It's been a very busy year, and it's not just solar farms. We'll get into some of the breakdown, but we see conditional uses. The variations are a little bit higher. Reclassifications are a little bit higher. Everything is just up when it comes to the entitlement process. This past year, when Renee had left us, it was very intentional to do that kind of the reorganization and bring in a planner and not bring in another manager. We needed more people doing the reports. We needed more people attending our hearings and really staffing the workload. So that move, while maybe I wouldn't say uncertain, I'm jumping in as a zoning enforcement officer. I appreciate the confidence, I appreciate the feedback that you've all given me throughout that process, but it was critical to our operation to support this call. So the first thing we look at is the number of zoning districts approved. These are the reclassifications, and the acreage in which they're consuming. So we don't have a huge number. We get a lot of A1 to A2s. We have 10 of those. Those are the dominant petitions. Some of these other reclassifications are either to build out a couple rezonings for commercial use. In terms of the overall acreage, the dominant acreage that has been reclassified, again, that goes to the A1 to A2s. So we're not seeing a sweeping industry or a sweeping trend towards industry or manufacturing. It's really preservation of existing residences to allow that continuation of farming, or in the E1 range, that was more on the residential side, certainly. But the 159 acres approved, it pales in comparison to the 280,000 acres available for reclassification. So our existing zoning is, in a nutshell, working.
Okay, Mr. Gadamuller has a court case this morning. He has to go. We still have a quorum, it's my understanding, because we have Dina online. So we'll see you if you get a chance to get back. If not,
Bye, Joe.
In terms of variations, another test of whether or not there's hardships out there employed or really imposed by the ordinance. We see setbacks as the most dominant, certainly. A couple of these other ones that we've seen, lot frontage, overall height, that's one that we'll have before us this coming month. And again, going to setbacks, some of these are associated with violations. Some of them are proposed, akin to the one that we're seeing this month. So it's folks going about it the right way. But all in all, we don't see too many red flags, just volume when it comes to the actual variations requested. And then, of course, conditional uses. Conditional uses, by definition, are allowable with specific approval from the county board. Not that they're intended to be controversial, but they have a tendency to be, because they're something that otherwise doesn't fit. That explanation is for everything on the left. All the different colors, not the blue. We know about the solar farms. We're going to talk a little bit more about the next generation of that particular bill in a little bit. But everything to the left is generally run-of-the-mill. I mean, a couple off-site premises, sales warehouse, the concrete paving manufacturer. All of these are one, maybe two applications of those types. Typical trends, typical numbers and volume. Letters of buildability. Member Gadamuller just left, but maybe one slide. Maybe I should have bumped that up, because he has championed the letters of buildability for us. Just as a land use attorney, we get a lot of feedback from other land use attorneys, realtors, These letters of buildability provide confidence. You know, it's a statement that says, hey, this zoning district, you can build a house. You can't build a house. You know, it helps or assists with that foundational knowledge for what that ultimate land use can be. Balled into that are also zoning certifications. So something for, that would be the same thing, but for commercial operations.
Is there any fee for a letter of buildability?
There are, yeah, those are $75.
$75.
Yeah. It's essentially a report. We do a little research on it. And honestly, it kind of covers the cost. As we're going through the fee structure right now, we're looking at those probably going up to $100 just in terms of what that would be. But we don't want to price them out of their usefulness.
Right, and they're very useful. I mean, it's just, in my mind, a requirement these days for people to get that.
Sure.
And it takes a little off your office, because in the past, people were told one thing and then a different thing happened, and it didn't work out well.
Didn't Understatement of the year. Yeah, that would be bad. It's a bad situation.
Yeah, so it's good on both sides, but a fair price, and what it provides, that, like you say, the confidence it's a good thing.
Good. Temporary uses. Down below that, these numbers have been relatively consistent, averaged about 53 there. Apparently I missed that, and the 5-year average column. The notable piece with this is we have two types that are of focus. The temporary entertainment events, one for concerts and one for rodeos. We're still looking and working with our group that does those reviews, EMA, fire districts, the sheriff's office, and then among others, to really kind of figure out, in the state's attorney's office, to really figure out how these can be. The county board wants to continue to approve these, which we haven't heard any sentiment that they don't. How can we run them safely and function properly? That's really been our charge, and so we're still in that process, and have a couple theories, but we're not quite there yet.
Where are we at with the movies, filming?
So,
I mean, if that's, unless you don't want to get into that deep right now.
well, I would punt. I'm giving Scott a minute to turn the page to that, but I think it's off of P&D's chart.
Yeah, I mean, I can speak to it now, or we can wait till after his report, and then I can give an update on where we're at.
Okay, that's fine. We'll do it that way. Go ahead.
Sounds good.
Welcome, Paul.
FOIAs. These are some of the other actions that really drive time, and that's why I installed these or keep these and maintain these numbers. We look at them feverishly at the end of the year. Our FOIAs have gone down relatively, and the reason for that is because a lot of our information is outward facing. Everything is digital, and we try to push that out. As soon as we close it, we scan those files and try to make them available. Great. So that accounts for some of the reduction in FOIAs. The complexity in which our FOIAs are coming in now has changed. It's intensified. I don't know if it's a yearly trend but it's been about the last 18 months or so where they're requesting any and all emails, communications, all the different things that come with it. Is it overburdensome? No, we can handle and manage it, but it's turning in from a quarter of a job description or job duties to maybe 40% to 50% of a person's every day. Down below, text amendments and appeals, we had one in 2025, and that was that was the overlay district, more of a technical text amendment. We will have 2 and potentially 3 rounds coming in 2026. One we know, which will stem off of the Senate Bill 2025, the Solar Bill of Rights. That'll go into effect June, and we have a very prescribed time in which we have to put that into effect. So we know one will come through, and then over the last 2 years, 2024, 2025, and even the tail end of 23, we haven't gone through our full text amendment process to provide updates just on general trends or things, little tiny typographical type things. So our zoning division has compiled about 6 pages of potential text amendments that we'll try to boil down and make concise for the committee to consider. For the first time, you are graced with stormwater permit breakdowns. Previously, the permit numbers were very difficult to obtain because they were in DebNet. With our new SmartGov system, we can pull this stuff out very quickly. You'll see the numbers don't line up here. And this was the best way to really exemplify this quote-unquote issue, but it's really kind of the new reality when it comes to a permit portal in which the applicants are applying for their information as opposed to coming into our counter and doing it hand in hand. On the top, those are all the permits that have been applied for this past year for stormwater development. On the bottom, those are the actual permits that were issued. So in 2025, we certainly had an influx. Development is up, 230 permits issued. The 279 on the chart incorporates the canceled permits. So when folks apply for a permit, and let's say they apply for a general permit number 2, but upon review, we discover that it's a little bit more than that or a little bit different, we have to cancel that permit and then have them apply under something else. It doesn't happen in all circumstances, but it happens. And the reason for that is the questions that we ask are a little bit different. And once you switch over to the other permit types, the software just has a little bit of a communication issue, and they can't incorporate those new questions without deleting the old stuff. So it turns into a bit of a mess. So our process at present is to just cancel it and reopen another one. So we don't want to overinflate the numbers, and on the next chart, when we break down the actual building permits, we've pulled all the cancellations out. So
if somebody applies for the permit and it's canceled, then there's a fee to apply for that permit.
Mm-hmm.
But that feeds back into their next permit. Okay.
Yeah, certainly.
But it may be more to move to the next level financially.
It could be. Yeah. So what we look at, we don't necessarily, we still ask for the 25%. Some people pay it in full. Usually there's more than just a couple emails back. There are some emails back and forth. So once we verify that, hey, this is good, then our permit technicians will say, this is the fee that would be associated with that. In order for us to launch it down the slide, we'll need that 25%.
Okay.
I should know the answer to this, but I don't. What's the difference between the minor and major development? What is that?
Typically magnitude impacts. So it's just.
Solar farm would be a major, or what would be an example?
Solar farms do vary. Some of them are minor, but most of them are intermediate, I believe. I'll get an answer for you.
Okay.
I don't think they're one-to-one in there, because we've issued 13, maybe we've issued more on the.
Just a second, Adam. This
is not
plan.
the orientation, Bob, is it?
This is, I'm sorry,
Orientation?
new employee?
Yeah.
No, it'd be down, if you go all the way down, all the way to the right, and then another right, HR.
Oh, okay, thank you.
I knew he was looking confused. Okay.
I'll get an answer for you. I should know it too.
One question, when you do kick them out or there's more questions or whatever, does that prolong the permit process?
I mean, it prolongs
Starts it over?
It would, yes and no. Once they engage, once they apply for something, our permit techs are looking to get, it's a live application at that point. So we wouldn't push them to the end of the line.
Okay.
We try to organize it so that we give them something to respond to and they know exactly what they need to do. And then the ball's in their court or the clock's on them. And then they would communicate back to us, hey, I've got this issue. They already have a live person then at that point and the portal. So with clear directions. I mean, that's our biggest challenge, is to provide written directions, you know, whether it's letters of buildability or these emails. They become critical records, if you will, just to say, hey, this is where you're at. So does it start over? Yes, but they still have a little bit of it's a secondary line.
Okay, they're still in the queue. Yeah.
Still in the, yeah. So, but until It's a completeness review. So until that application is complete, meaning we can review it all phases, it won't go into that review queue. So it's in the application queue at that point. Yeah, for sure.
Permit determination letter?
Yeah.
Sort of like buildability letter, or?
Those are, yeah, so, yeah, they're kind of scope reviews, or similarly, if we have, you know, they're in the project, in the preliminary process, that might be something that we put out there for folks to think about as they, or consider as they build their scope.
Before they spend a lot of money on engineering, et cetera.
Yeah.
Which that sounds good. Is there a fee for that somewhere? Or for the
Yeah, I think that's $75 as well. That could be, that one could be $100.
Okay, that's fine, thanks.
Yeah. All right. This chart's a little bit, it's familiar in terms of being in this slide deck year after year, but we have reorganized it. And we've reorganized it because this is the data that we pull now from SmartPhone. So you won't see a big jump in terms of the residential reporting. You'll see a little bit more, a little bit of a difference in the commercial. I'll touch on that in a bit. So the first one we look at always is our single-family residences. So since I've been here 12 years now, this is 25 more, or 10 more, I guess, than I've seen, but 75 is a lot. We're typically telling people 50. Now I still haven't trained myself to go above 50, 55. We're at 58 on a 5-year average. Talk about the cancellations, we actually had 92 applied for. So when we ran those numbers the first time, we were kind of looking at each other like, whoa, this is outstanding. Then we really dove into the status and found out that it's good. So 75, and then member Gadamaller's first question, oops, I went to the wrong one there. I'll just get them all up there. Nope, I missed it, I didn't touch it. Demo of single-family residences, right about the midpoint. So member Gadamuller always asks, year after year, even offline, for building these houses, how many are we demoing? And a couple of years in a row, we had maybe 20 houses. We had 19 demos. So it was kind of an offset. This year we have 6 single-family residences that have been demolished. Some of them for, you know, they didn't get replaced. We know that. They were farmhouses that just were falling down. Others, there was one in there that was a demo after a fire. They're gonna actually rebuild with 2 houses. They're going through some zoning action for that. So we're seeing growth. We all know about the housing demand. The county is seeing that, but not nearly the numbers that the municipalities are, and that's justifiably or rightfully so. So those developments should go into the municipalities. We support it, but we'll certainly accept the others. There's 13, going towards the bottom on the commercial, there's 13 solar farms that have been permitted. Highlighting that, not to throw salt on the wound for anybody on this, but there's gonna be certainly some revenue that's generated out of that. I highlight that because we're gonna see more of those, and with the state law, we are also adapting our fee structure to be exactly what the state law allows. So at least at that point, wanted to express that.
How much is that?
It's $5,000 per megawatt, I believe, with an escalator that it caps out at a certain amount. So it's not $5,000. I think it's $7,500, but it's very prescriptive in there as you would expect. But yeah, we're right under it in reality. So we actually eclipsed it on one, but there's not much money that's been left on the table.
So they're telling us that we got what to do, and then now they're telling us what we can charge for it. Okay.
Yeah.
See, Jim? Just
Russian.
Part of our wonderful state.
Then the bottom line, our building permit totals are up again. So 1,368, about 1,000 up over the last couple of years. We have one of the charts in here talks about, I think it's maybe the next one even, we'll talk about the overall number of permits that we've had. So you couple the stormwater permits in there, it's about 1,500. We're up about almost 30% in overall permit numbers this year. So we have seen a big spike, a good spike of development. We're not looking for it to slow down, but I think some of the folks in our office would accept a calm day. All right, not everybody's gotten permits though. Our compliance cases are generally balancing out to be about 550 complaints per year. 143 on average are maybe a little bit more than that. I'm looking at these 100 numbers. I think that's open at the end of the year. There we go. It's about 250, 275 are valid or founded complaints issues that are demonstratable. And that's when we look at any case, we have to look at it under the filter of, can we prove this in court? You know, can we take this forward and represent it? And that number doesn't shake much. What has really changed a little bit, and I wanted to highlight, is between FY 16 and 20, we had 108 cases go to the state's attorney's office. In the last 5 years, we've averaged 43. So it's a reduction of just over 60% in terms of the number of cases that go to the SAO. That again, that we've highlighted in years past. People are doing the same things. It's not a big change in the trend. We've gotten better with our communication, our demonstration of compliance issues, and education on how to comply. So that plan to compliance, or creating a compliance plan, is critical in this side of the department. It's critical, and going through the permitting, getting people involved, getting them to understand that it's a deck, or it's whatever, an addition, whatever it might be. Let's just get it back into compliance and then move on. So, and if you've got questions along the way, those bubbles on the right-hand side, we've got architects, we've got engineers, we've got planners, we've got the expertise in-house to guide you through. Can't do it for you, but we can guide you through it. So
that's also impressive, because your building permits are up 10%, and
yes,
this is down 60%. So you're just really, it's more impressive number than what you're looking at right there.
Thank you.
In a sense.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a lot of internal collaboration. Our compliance, our code enforcement officer, Derek Kirkus, has done a remarkable job of communicating and just keeping on task with this thing. So Deb Sorensen did a great job. Derek continued her work and improved where he could. It's been great. Here's the number I was talking about in terms of the number of permits issued. I think I ran this chart before taking the cancellations out, and maybe subconsciously I did this, or in reviews, I did this maybe intentionally. There's still work that goes into those cancellations. So to defend our permit technicians, Cindy's staff, we kept it in there. But you can see the big spike. We're just up. Our numbers are just up. 1,653 overall permits. This includes temporary use permits, everything that we issue a card for. And then those reviews, 2,500 plus. So the first thing that I look at on these, and as you look at those numbers, it may not be a big takeaway, but the first thing I look at every month when we run these numbers is what's that ratio? How many reviews does it take to issue a permit? For the last 7 years, we've been looking and analyzing our numbers, and that number, that ratio is about 1.6 reviews per permit. If we floated down at that 1.5, one under, it's kind of a rubber stamp type thing. I don't want to say that that's what we're doing, but it has a tendency to be that. If we're up at that 1.7, 1.75, now we're maybe we have too high a barrier. And it doesn't seem like a lot, but I measure it based on complaints, feedback, internal feedback, and just kind of raising the flag and saying, hey, this is up. What do we think about this? Is there a unique set of permits that have come through, or are the permits easier this go around? So it's just another metric that we try to kind of hone in on. And all through that, we have, for the 4th year in a row, achieved our 90% mark. Through no small task. This is our first year with the permit system. So this is everybody in our department, everybody that pulled way more weight on reviewing permits than I did.
It was that nice handwriting.
Artificial intelligence. So in tail end of 2017, 2018, we started tracking our numbers and our review times, and Dennis came out with the goal of turning permit reviews around in 2 weeks, 90% of them in 2 weeks. We didn't achieve that until 2022, and 23, 24, 2025's achievement is a little bit different because I don't think there's any going back. Now next year we could crash, I don't know, but I really think with the efficiencies brought on by the permit system, we have, and to do that in our first year with the permit system, it was such a learning curve when that went online in January of last year. We've had great buy-in. The speed in which we're reviewing things and communicating has improved. We still get to do what we do, actually looking at the codes and actually diving into it. And folks, applicants are becoming more and more familiar with it. I just don't see us dipping down unless there's something bizarre that occurs. So we're excited going forward. I was excited seeing these numbers come together. And I'm really proud of this group. Cindy, as our deputy director, her staff, permit techs and finance, they fill in so many gaps for us and keep our technical staff able to focus on the technical aspects. And the administrative aspects are either managed or they're collaboratively addressed. So it's been a great year. And I'm excited to see where we go from here. I think that's it, yeah.
Okay, I think that's great. The 90% is great. You guys are obviously doing a good job. I'm not getting as many calls.
You forward to me if you do, because there's always a rough spot. Right.
Somebody used to find me once in a while and have a talk to me about your department, and that hasn't happened in the last couple of years, I don't think. So,
all right.
And that's a good sign, right?
Yeah.
Paul, did you have something?
That's how I gauge it, I guess.
So, throughout the county, no matter what, you have to get a stormwater management. Whether you're in the city of McHenry, we have to come to the county for the stormwater management.
The stormwater ordinance it's countywide, but municipalities are certified. So like Crystal Lake, McHenry, some of the larger communities, and I think there's 15 or 16 certified communities. The number at the tail end always kind of fluctuates, but the core stays the same. They would administer their own, so you can go to the city of Crystal Lake, McHenry, Woodstock, and they are certified or have staff that can review it. Those other communities that are non-certified would be like
McComb Lake.
McComb Lake, yeah. Then those applications would come to us.
Okay. Yeah, I had a friend that built to McComb Lake. McComb Lake didn't even know about the stormwater permit. He was going through a permit, and they're like, "We can't give you a full permit. You got to go to the county." And so
Gotcha.
So I was just wondering how that works with these smaller communities. If you guys are working with them, let them know what's.
It's come up in the past. Yeah, it's come up in the past. What was that?
I mean, we've done some outreach to those communities that aren't certified to let them know that, hey, you're doing this, you need a stormwater permit, make sure you guys come to us. But then they have building inspector changeovers, and
That's what happened here too, yeah.
And then that communication gets lost. So maybe we need to look at that again, Adam, and get that out to those communities again, or whatever we did last time.
Yeah.
I said you guys were really good to him. It's just one of our constituents, and he called me and I says, "I think you have to go, for the stormwater, you have to go to the county."
Okay.
But he was just getting run around. No one had built a new home in this area for maybe a decade or something.
Sure.
They were all remodels or something like that, so
Okay.
it was unique. But yeah, they seem to not know anything about stormwater.
All right, we'll brush up or dust off the outreach program for the non-certifieds.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So Adam, the permits for the building, for the houses, those are just in the county. Do you have an idea how many of that in the county, I shouldn't say those are just in the county jurisdiction.
Yeah.
Do you know how many were issued within the municipalities too?
I did not run those numbers, and now that you're
Are
saying
you
it,
able to get those numbers?
yeah, we can pull them off of the census data. So yes, we can get those numbers.
I'd like to see those, if you could send them.
Yeah, 100%.
It's an interesting question for us.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like Stonewater and Wonder Lake, I think they just pulled 800.
That would track, yeah.
Yeah, 800 permits
For houses.
for houses, for phase 2, you know?
I just said, one more stoplight and I'm moving.
Never mind.
Yeah.
Just curiosity, your cell towers for 23 and 24 dipped and back up and 20.
Yeah.
You know, you're high.
Yeah. No rhyme or reason. Those folks that apply for those are from northern Minnesota. You know, we had
Not around from here, yeah.
Yeah, right. They are. I mean, it's been a while since I reviewed a cell tower. I was about to say U.S. Cellular and AT&T, but yeah, T-Mobile and all those reps come in, or now they just do them digitally. So yeah, the numbers are a little bit higher this year than they were last year, but I think going back a couple years, it was 82. So some of them are replacements, some of them are co-locates where they just swap out antennas. But yeah, I don't have a trend
Just curious,
rationale for you.
No problem.
They are fascinating. Those are some interesting ones to look at in terms of the intensity of the foundation systems and all that stuff. Those are pretty wild.
Yeah, that's a little interesting, because I would have thought, I mean, at one point, we didn't have good coverage out here, but that was probably 20 years ago or something. And that's just 5 years ago, that 82 new ones. Man, just curious.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, that was great.
Thank you.
You guys got any other questions for Adam while we're on this? Otherwise, thank you. It was great.
Appreciate it. Stop.
So we'll move on to the routine consent agenda. And there is nothing. So we'll
Nothing.
moving on to old business. And old business is resolution adopting the McHenry County 2050 Comprehensive Plan. Do we need a motion before we discuss that? Motion by Jim to adopt it, seconded by Carl. For discussion, Jim, go ahead.
Transportation, we modified the 5-year plan, which is coming forward. Does that reflect or need to be reflected in this plan? And we took projects off because of.
I don't think we got to the detail of projects, but we got to the overarching concepts of of planning operations for transportation. But if it was just an amendment or an update of how many projects have been achieved or prioritized, is that what was amended? I'm honestly unfamiliar.
No, it's removing projects from the 5-year plan because,
Okay.
I mean, there's some roadway extensions that are being removed and
Okay.
safety issues, or bike paths and different things.
Okay. We may have an update. And the reason I say that is we'll certainly have some, mapping that'll show some of the future arterials or some of the projected development from transportation side. So it may influence an update. And that's something that, as we've talked about in the past, as it relates to this plan, I think we anticipate some updates, as we go. Impeccable timing, Mr. Gatto.
Just started, we just went through the P&D thing and starting the 2050 plan. So we have the resolution in front of us. I had a call over the weekend about the northern bypass that was voted down 20 some years ago. That is still in our 2050 plan.
It was voted down?
Some 20 years ago.
Okay. Okay.
That's the message I have. I was supposed to get an email on it, but I'm not seeing it.
Northern Light,
Is it the Route
one that went
53 extension?
through the conservation district and everything?
Oh,
Up through McHenry.
If they're talking about Route 53, that, I'm not sure which thing.
I'm not sure either, Joe. It was from someone who was on the county board in 1998, and it was very politically contentious at the time because it went through some of the smaller communities over there. And I was thinking it was the Route 53 connection, but I didn't really get any deeper into that, and the person I was talking to didn't give me any more details.
Well, they tried to resurrect that in about 2015, again, the 53, and it died then again too. I don't think there's any significant chance that that gets built
I agree with
in
you.
our lifetimes.
I agree with you. I just was checking, is it in our 2050 plan that, or referred to
Yeah,
something?
Might be in the transportation plan.
that's what I'm looking through right now.
Well, I don't know about the transportation plan, but if you remember, it came, I don't know if it was before us or stormwater. They brought forward, they wanted us to give up that easement, some of those easements that went through Conservation District and everything for that road. And they voted not to give those easements up, I do know that. That didn't get passed. I don't know if we ever want to give up those easements.
I don't know if I can get into my email here or not, quite.
Yeah, there's strategic bypasses that I wouldn't say they're small, but I don't see any major bypasses. It's, you know, the phrase northern bypass doesn't hit in here, but certainly the smaller bypasses.
Ackman Road extension, the 47, Lakewood Road down into Huntley Road. Those extensions were
Yeah,
from Algonquin to Huntley Road.
yeah, and some of
And
the,
those were changed, modified in the budget, or in the transportation.
transportation.
Well, I didn't delve into it because they didn't have the details, and I was familiar with it enough to know that it's not gonna happen. So,
Okay.
I didn't know if we had anything specific on that in there or not.
The concepts in here, again, the 2050 plan is gonna be informed by the transportation plan. And the concepts in here are really gonna be focused on downtown bypasses to get around for commuters, but still allow that access. Secondary to that, the only other one that I've ever had a phone call on but never really advanced past was additional Fox River crossings. You know, with every bridge, there's there's the potential contamination, right? That's the crux of their issue.
Oh, yeah, okay.
But right, that's nothing that this department would lead. You know, we would be informed by it. So respecting that if there are some updates here, I would be a little surprised that we would dive into the depth of it, but we may have it reflected just as a highlighted roadway area or something.
Okay, well, I wanted to ask about it because I was asked, I can't get my email right now, but if it comes up later, I'll get back to you on it.
Sure. So while we're in transportation, one of the items that we talked about the last time this was up was the Huntley stop. So we've generalized that to say, you know, within the county or within the southwest region of the county.
Yeah, with Huntley not wanting the road,
Yeah.
railroad cross, or
Yeah,
railroad
so,
stop.
and that's, you know, the concepts that are in the 2050 plan they're general ideas, general policy ideas. And so the idea to get too specific locks you in and paints you into a corner. I think those are the things that we've peeled back as of late. That's recognizing that.
Well, page 102 talks about coordinated Amtrak and Huntley, for whatever it's worth. So we probably want to just, I mean, I don't know whether we have to change that word, but.
The one that we changed was specific to a stop in Huntley. It was, but
2.7, page 102,
Yep.
still references Huntley.
yeah, I see it.
I mean, but we can certainly, I would say leave everything in it, just take out the word Huntley. Amtrak's coming through the county, it'd be nice to have someplace for them to stop.
Just change that to McHenry County then.
Yeah, we'll phrase it. So what,
Wish they put it on Coin Station Road is where they should put it, but.
the process is going forward, whatever, if there's little single word revisions, or if there's, you know, omissions of an entire sections along those lines. There'll be, this is the final draft, and then there'll be the adopted version that'll be produced based on any of those comments. And so we'll put this into those comment buckets, and then that final adopted version would be issued.
And the adopted version will be at the next county board meeting then?
That would be as a result of the county board. So once it's adopted, that's, as we understand it, that would be, once it's adopted, then they would produce that adopted version with any on the floor comments or anything along those lines.
Oh, okay. Okay, and you,
The other, get back to what we were actually highlighting and what we changed in here, the gravel mines, gravel pits. So there were two areas in which, that was another change that we had. There are two areas that talked about, you know, the importance and the value of a gravel pit and earth extraction. And then the importance, and then there's another chapter elsewhere that talks about the importance and protections of SARA, sensitive aquifer recharge areas. Remember, Godmauer pointed out, they have competing interests, right? The perspective of the plan, or the position of the plan, is intended to state each one of these should be looked at specifically. If it's suitable here, doesn't mean it's suitable everywhere. And that could be either one, the earth extraction or the protection of the SARA area. There will be more gravel pits. There will be more protection of the aquifer, you know, those areas. That is the county board's position. Their job is to really evaluate those and make a decision on that. If you know, whatever information we can provide you to make that information and make that decision better, cleaner, easier, we're there for you.
So if a municipality annexes those properties in,
Mhm.
we don't have a lot of say so.
Well, this plan doesn't have anything to do with it.
Right, we don't have any say so.
Municipality's plan.
It's, if it's in our plan now, but then the municipality goes away from our plan.
Correct. The plan has something that we talked about a little bit in the annual report. The plan has language and a position that states, and to that concept of if it's in a municipality, the plan doesn't apply. The plan takes the position on development and says that development should be in or along the periphery. The point of that is you have infrastructure. You certainly have roads. You're going to have electrical. You're going to have water, sewer, etc. That would be as close as really where it comes to the plan or the comprehensive plan from the county saying, hey, municipalities, you need to do this. But still, they don't need to do it. They have their own comprehensive plan. They have their own land use plan.
My concern with the SARA versus the gravel pits, the SARA, if you got right down to it, maybe just the strategic water resources that we're trying to preserve, but you've literally mapped the gravel pits. And mapped the best gravel mining in the county. So you've got two competing interests. They're gonna come before this board. I don't want us to try to predetermine those. I think we have to balance them when they come in. They're gonna come in. Give the board the tools to make that decision based on that balance. Don't try to decide it today. And that was my concern with it. You're tying your hand if you pick one or the other. And we don't know which piece they're gonna take in, other than I'd be willing to bet you that when the next gravel pit comes in, it's in the SARA. That's where the gravel's at. You know, that's where you're gonna mine it. So that was my thought behind it when I talked to Adam. It wasn't, you know, we're gonna have one or the other. They're both gonna exist here. And we need to be able to make that decision.
Paul, did you have something?
Sarah, is that a regional thing, or is that nationwide, or?
It's really here.
Yeah.
We've made it up here.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and it's similar to gravels here, right? I mean, it's a response to what is below us. You know, you'll see our water resources chapter is robust. John Housiel mentioned it in the presentation. Water resources not usually in a comprehensive plan. we're unique in our approach and what we look at in terms of our analytics and certainly the resources that we have in the county. That chapter is not only installed in this plan, but it's we try to really boil it down. There's maybe 4 or 5 points in each one of major points, and then some sub points within each chapter. I think the water resources chapter started with 42 points. So we had to really boil it down, and in reality, it's poised for its own stormwater comprehensive. So it's useful, but it is unique to McHenry County.
And does it go together with like the watershed and everything like that?
The Sarah areas are how the water gets into the ground fastest. And if you look, we've all been on a beach. The water goes in the sand and the gravel fastest. That happens to be what's mapped there. That's where the sand and gravel is. And that's why we need to protect it, because the sand and gravel also purifies the water as it goes through it. You've seen sand filters in swimming pools.
Yep.
That's what it's doing. It's stopping the microbes and the bad bacteria and anything else from getting through. So when you open it up and you have a lake instead of the sand, that lake could certainly be, it doesn't have a filter going through it. And so, you get the pollution that would come from a lake versus the, stuff that comes out of your well water. So, and he's absolutely correct. We are at the end of a glacier run. If you look back, if you went prior to the last glacier, so 10,000 years ago is when it melted away, but if you go before that, we were 200 feet lower than we're sitting today. That's how much sand and gravel's been pushed here. So, and that we're unique, that the sand and gravel's here, and we're unique that what mining company wouldn't want to be able to take it out? You can go to other parts of the world and they don't have any sand and gravel at all.
Go to the south suburbs and there's areas that don't have basements because it's at bedrock.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's quick change.
Well, then we get to looking at the aquifer that we're drawing out of, and
Sure.
But it's like 2 aquifers we draw out of in McHenry County or something like that. And
Yeah, there's the upper aquifer. That's the one that most folks, residences, that's the one they're going to tap. Then there's the deep bedrock aquifers. That's the 250 feet down, 300 feet down, and those are the ones that the water towers are going to tap into.
So can they fill in a pit where there's water, a lake? Can they fill that in with
Clay.
not clay, but where they dump cement and different things into them and
Clean
fill? They can't do that in McHenry County, right?
They cannot. No, when that lake shows up, that is the aquifer. So
Right.
that water it'll migrate and it'll move to your well or you'll swim in it. In the case of Three Oaks. So it is the aquifer, so it's very protected.
The only reason I'm asking that, because I know of one not in our county. And but they're actually filling that in along 90.
Yep.
Really?
We've done it. And turn them into
And there's some
commercial-
real crap goes in that thing.
commercial.
Fill is fill, right?
Right,
Even if you're trying to sort it, there's going to be mistakes.
right. I didn't know if that was allowed, but apparently other counties allow it.
You gotta
No,
test
or-
it before you can bring it anywhere, right? It's gotta be
We'll
approved.
test on
That's
that,
not-
that's cool.
it's
Well,
not-
that's for dirt.
Yeah, dirt
You
clay.
get the true landfills, and that's a whole other.
They're dumping everything on that thing.
My pulse still hasn't gone down though, Jim. That's.
Well, that's only 2 miles from my house, that's my problem.
yeah. Anything else specific from the committee members on it, or we feel comfortable to vote on this? What's up, Ed?
The only other thing I would say on this, we talked about it briefly about, updating per transportation and the evolution there. It's a 2050 plan. I'm gonna tell you right now, we didn't get it right. by 2050 standards. By today's standards, I'm here to tell you, it's a great plan. Is it perfect? No. But we plan and anticipate to evolve this plan. We don't want to come back in 5 years and say, hey, we're throwing that out, we're redoing it. This was a major investment of time. The commission has put a lot of time in, county board members have put a lot of time in, and there's a lot of pride with it. We're gonna help develop, whatever fixes we find and come across along the way. That'll be part of our annual report that says, hey, this is what's in there, but we've gone against it on a few adoptions. So maybe we readdress this concept that we put in here, if that makes sense.
Well, it does, because, and there's just things that you just don't see at a time. I mean, I think the last plan was made with the idea that we'd have an extra couple 100,000 people here. It didn't happen, it didn't happen, so.
And the flip side, now you can get the people, and that would change it too.
Pardon?
And the flip side, in the next 25 years, maybe they change and we get the people, and that would change it too.
Sure.
We don't know.
But with what we got to work with, it's the best of what we got to work with right now, and I think it was a good job done.
Thank you.
Yeah, my only other complaint is still the 15-minute walkable neighborhoods. Those are never happening in unincorporated McHenry County, but whatever.
Yeah, and that concept jumps off of the what you had just mentioned, Larry, where there's 127,000 people on this model. That's the foundational assumption. And if those walkable neighborhoods come, we probably got 128,000. I appreciate exactly what you're saying, and and there is some language within that paragraph to say, hey, and the municipalities are on those peripherals, but I respect the fact that,
I want to see Alden turn into a 15-minute walkable neighborhood.
It is.
Can't buy anything there.
You go down to the general store, get cigarettes and beer and groceries.
The more you need.
Yeah, I meet people walking down the street all the time over there, going to the store.
It is.
Used to be a restaurant there. That's back before you guys' time.
Yeah.
Well, I sold the general store so it could stay as a general store, so it was a while ago.
Okay, anything else, Adam?
No, that's the only thing I wanted to express at the end.
Okay, ready to vote on it, guys? Mr. Gottemauer?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Carl?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
Dina, still there?
Yes,
Thank you, and I'll vote yes.
you're welcome.
Next to nothing now.
Okay,
All right, thank you, folks.
This is
thank you.
We're excited.
hearing. That's what
And you're still up, I guess, Adam?
Yeah, we're still up.
Move into the reports, and then on one of them, you're gonna give us a little update on,
Yeah.
on some battery storage comments that have been coming in, right?
Yes. So this month we have a variation request for a new structure. It's not built yet, which is always nice to see people coming in before they get built. 25-foot structure, accessory structure, seeking relief of the 18-foot height. So a 7-foot increase over what would otherwise be allowed. And then we have 3 solars. They were all recommended for approval, 7-0. One of them is on, oh boy, it's right off of Grand Highway and I can't think of the style, but it butts up against the rail, Union Pacific rail line. And then the other 2 are on Pleasant Valley Road and Sunnyside. These 2 are owner applied for on the same parcel, but due to the regulations, they have to break them up into 2. The details of which are in there, but those 3 solar farms, I guess, will be the springboard for the report. We caught wind on Thursday that the governor signed SB 25, which brings into law the next generation of the solar wind energy and incorporates battery energy storage systems as if you will, under the Solar Bill of Rights, which is the tag within this law. There are some changes.
In that.
What's that?
What's bad for us in that?
What's bad for us? There are some restrictions that will impact the county. but most of it is more of the same. We have endured it, we're used to it. What has occurred is that the municipalities now are incorporated within this law. So just as the county had to basically ceremonially hear these and approve them or vote on them, now the municipalities will have to conduct their public hearings and administer a voting decision. What changes on our end is that previously the hearings needed to be conducted within 60 days. Now the state law states that the hearings need to be concluded within 60 days. So we will see them, go very fast, and when there's controversy or ambiguity, we have a little bit less flexibility in terms of the Zoning Board of Appeals really asking for some of the stuff that they asked for in the past, the tree surveys or.
And if we lose a suit, if we get sued and we lose a suit, the county, we're
That's the
now
next part.
liable for,
Attorney's fees. Yeah, so the attorney's fees are now on the table in terms of once litigation occurs, the victor can request or can obtain compensation for attorney's fees.
And to keep in mind, the attorney's fees, when they win the case, seem to go up drastically.
Yeah, is there a bar?
I
mean, is there a?
There was certainly bars placed on how much we could how much we could charge for entitlement applications, how much we could ask for building permit applications. But no, there was no limitation that I saw in terms of the amount of
Well, the
attorney's
judge will
fees.
make the decision
Right.
about fees, but
Oh, okay.
it's not it's, you know,
If the attorney's fees are just crazy and exorbitant, the judge will temper them down, but it's still gonna be a lot.
Think about, yeah.
It's a consideration.
Yeah.
Am I saying that in a fair
And we
way,
still
Mr.
can't-
Gademauer? Is that a fair way to say it?
Yes, I think the ARDC, the Supreme Court rules basically say something along the lines, they have to be reasonably necessary to accomplish the court case. Okay, so anything that they can convince a judge is reasonably necessary, we'll pay for.
Yeah, because there could be a team behind it, just not
Well,
one. lawyer.
there will be a team behind
Yeah,
it.
there'll
It's
be a
not
team.
could be,
So
there
it's
will be.
thousands of dollars per hour.
JB law
Yes.
firm.
Yes.
So the solar farms that we, as a board, denied last board meeting, if they sue us, will they fall under this new law?
There's language in there that talks about their, that it can be retroactive, certain requirements within there, but perfectly frank, we're gonna, imagine we will, I'm not the lawyer that'll be presenting, but, nor would I, expose the strategy, but I imagine we would push for that and our strategy not to be part of that because the law was not in effect, right? But there's language in there but it only talks about the zoning processes and revisions or amendments that can then come back and allow these rights for developers. I don't know the answer to that question because it goes outside of the zoning action and it goes into that litigation action.
So the counties that are involved with lawsuits right now,
Yeah.
we're not, right? I don't think we are right now.
We'll be soon, I'm sure, but I don't think we had any.
So the counties that are involved, where are those cases? Where do they stand?
The closest one to getting any sort of answer has been the Will County. That's the closest one that fits our model, if you will. I think Grundy County and LaSalle County had some that they were split. They went either way, but they weren't on the same basis. The ones that are in Will County, there's 3 of them that were recommended for denial and denied based on LaSalle factors. And then the countersuit says based on this law. So it is the crux of the concerns that McHenry County has expressed.
How do we apply the LaSalle factors to any solar farm? What is,
Conditional use, you don't, that's the issue.
You'll hear it in the Zoning Board of Appeals recommendations that, you know, they'll say just like they do with all of their recommendations. They're very good about basing their decisions and their recommendations to the county board on the merits of that petition and then tying them back into those specific standards for whatever the conditional use variance, et cetera. They'll say it on these and then you'll hear it at the very end, however, per state law, that it meets the state law requirements and therefore it would be a voting in favor. So you'll hear right in there that they respect that there are those LaSalle factors out there, but then the zoning board of appeals will say, hey.
But they voted against one because of the trees. Had 17 acres of oak trees or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And how can we as a county survive that lawsuit if the LaSalle factors don't?
I think that's our very issue, right? And that's our cross point.
Okay, Paul, when does,
Yeah, do we have, when I first got in here, I was told that there was roughly 100 permits applied for.
Mm-hmm.
And only about 15 that were actually given permits, gone through the whole thing. Does the county have like a map of where all these?
We do, and we update that, and actually we're changing our format on that, utilizing our GIS software capabilities to provide a little bit more information. I'm pulling up our actual numbers on those. So the number of conditional use permits that we have received, looks like we have 66, I'm sorry, not received, we have 66 that have been approved, and we're in the mid-70s for numbers of applications at present.
So that's 130 something.
No, I'm sorry, no, that's 70s, in the 70s, just below 80. We may
So my 100
80s,
is wrong, the 100.
Yeah, at present, yeah, in terms of the number of conditional uses and the number of actual permitted building permits that have been obtained, I think is 18. We had 13 this year and we had 5 coming into this year.
Joe, what's up?
Well, the thing that you have, when you talk about LaSalle factors, the issue that Will County is really deciding is, and the case law in the past has said, when you have a conditional use, you've already decided the LaSalle factors. And so now you're just deciding whether or not they met the conditional use standards for this project in this location. And that's the fight. We'll see what Will County does with it, but if Will County wins, they've overturned that case law. We'll see. And it could happen. I mean, I personally would like to see it happen, but I mean, it's not an easy decision.
And it's not something that's gonna happen tomorrow because they'll appeal it. And
Either side will appeal that.
This is gonna go on for longer than we have to make our decisions. We're not gonna ever see the end of that to make our decisions on these solar farms
Okay.
here or next month or the following month, I would suspect.
With the municipalities, really.
So the reality is it's just gonna drag on.
But
In my opinion.
Larry, I agree with
You
you. I
mentioned
don't
was,
see that.
the 29th of this month?
Yeah.
Or
26th. Yeah.
26th?
It was supposed to be last month. The judge keeps kicking it. And I don't know the judge, I don't know anybody down there, I haven't been down to Will County in 35 years. I was there once upon a time, but it was a long time ago. And so I don't want to speak for any of those people, but I don't blame a judge for going, I really want to get to this. No matter what the judge does, it's going to the appellate court, and maybe they'll rule in favor of the judge, maybe they won't. But
It's gonna be appealed and drag out for a long time.
And I expect ultimately it'll go to the Illinois Supreme Court. Because it's, Supreme Court generally takes cases that are either new or unique or have changed the existing law some way. I don't know how you can get much more new and unique than this. It's going.
Something we haven't seen.
So easily
since the
that's 2 years away.
So since the municipalities, I made this comment, the municipalities no longer have a say either. Solar farms literally could cut off our growth in McHenry County. They could literally stop our development. Our business, our revenues, they could just shut it down.
They could cover they could wallpapers, yeah.
How many acres do you think is within those permitted properties? I mean,
It's
Um,
got 5
thousands of
square miles.
acres.
Wasn't about 11% lost in the last 3-4 years? Or 8 years?
I'll have to run those numbers. It's in the, it's in the 4 digits, maybe 1,200, 1,400 acres in total. These are large developments. I mean, looking at the list here, some of them are 150 acres, some of them are 70, 20, et cetera. You mentioned Duke. Duke is one that, you know, it'll be a dark spot from space. You'll be able to see it. It's very large. I think it's
It's about 5 square
3,500.
miles.
Are they gonna build?
3,500 acres.
They're waiting for one last permit from FERC and then they will build.
What town is that, Marengo?
It goes from Marengo all the way to DeKalb. Not DeKalb town, DeKalb County.
DeKalb County.
In the corner of Boone County as well.
Yeah.
Very large.
Make sure they get the money for that.
Okay,
What I didn't touch on was Prairie Grove item.
okay.
And that's really
Let's get to that. I mean, all this is good stuff for reference. But we've got something more interesting to move to. The Prairie Grove thing?
Prairie Grove thing, yeah. So, I issued a memo earlier this week, or last week I should say, just trying to kind of clear the air in terms of the Prairie Grove battery energy BESS system. So there's no application that we have on file. Prairie Grove doesn't have one on file. There's a presentation that has been given to the county about a year ago, and then they've been presenting since with the Village of Prairie Grove. The proposal bridges a Prairie Grove parcel, and then on the outside are 2 unincorporated parcels. It's about 50 acres, and then round numbers 50 plus, and then about 10 to 12 are Prairie Grove. In order for it to land in county, it would have to be within county. So the Unified Development Ordinance does not apply outside of our jurisdiction. So some change to the underlying jurisdiction would have to occur in order for that proposal to occur. That said, with the new law, they could adjust it within fully Prairie Grove, within fully unincorporated, and be entitled to the rights afforded by that state law. We haven't seen one of those applications just yet, but when we do, that law has some prescriptive measures, not only on the zoning side, but also on the building side, in terms of what documents, and that's all through the NFPA, the National Fire Protection Agency. They issue the electrical code, they issue all of the various codes that are associated with and extend from the electrical and really fire codes. So we've been working with the fire districts within the county. Prairie Grove specifically has, because of this being in their backyard, has really driven up their awareness and their expertise on it. And we have a plan for that day in terms of how to review it. Nothing is going to mitigate risk, just like when you build a house or build a BESS system. Nothing is going to mitigate the risks and the concerns that are present with those systems. But I guess to some level the technology is there, and the what is prescribed within the law is exactly what we were pursuing, you know, if you will, a state of the art for these systems, which is good. Some level of reinforcement that, not that there's going to be controls, but that we'll have a good level of confidence that it'll comply and that it will be stable. That said, we don't have anything at that one, 50, 40, 20, no matter how many units, we just don't have an application there. Once we do, you know, we'll be applying our knowledge to it. We haven't formalized it yet, but that'll be a building code amendment that we're working towards, that will come before the committee it'll be strictly on BESS systems. So we don't have anything yet. I think the village has even put something out, or there was an article in the Herald about it, one of the two. But yeah, it's all been presentations at present.
Yeah. Go ahead, Jim.
So in the future on these batteries, when these solar farms come and they have the battery, batteries don't like water. We just approved one that has a creek going through it, and I've seen 6 foot of water on top of that land. What will we be able to do to make sure those batteries aren't in our water system?
Yeah, so the stormwater ordinance still applies, and the proposals on these, they're not gonna put vegetation around them. Yeah, I think it's a 50-foot buffer that they put gravel around these, as similar to what you would see at a natural gas substation or a valve station. They don't want shrubs, they don't want brush, they don't want anything that could catch on fire to then cause runaway. Thermal runaway is how these will start up. So there's going to be the stormwater permit that would be required. Be perfectly frank, our folks on the stormwater side are looking at, all right, that's fine, but what about water resources protections? You know, double containment for, in the event that not only what's getting sprayed on there hits the ground and runs into the groundwater, but the stuff that's contained in those batteries just moltens down into as well. So,
Are they going to consider the floodplain, the depth of the water?
the development itself, and the reason I bring in the stormwater ordinance is that the development in a floodplain is very prescribed. And so that entitlement doesn't extend into the ability to build in a floodplain. So if you're filling in a floodplain with gravel and a system like that, I can't say it's gonna be prohibited, but it will match everything else that we do.
But
You'll have to
will we run
elevate out
into
and
the-
offset.
But will we run into the same problem that we're modifying the statute when we say that? That we have run
At the-
into solar farms, that we couldn't change the length of time?
My position is that our ordinances for permitting, for building permits still apply. And there's no blinking there. And we haven't gotten sued, I don't wanna say that tempt anybody, but to answer your question, I don't think that that we're gonna be subject to that in terms of that portion of our operation. The codes still apply. That said, if we adopt something that we don't have anything right now that is in effect would deny these permits or make them unbuildable because of our building codes. There is language in there that says you can't adopt as a municipality now or as a county then as that would have the effect of denying these or obstructing them. We don't have anything in there. It would have to fall under the ordinances though. So and they are prescribed in terms of not allowing development in there without having certain protections, even whether it's a house, whether it's anything else. So it's either elevated out of the floodplain, or out of the wetlands, and then certain measures are taken to restore wetlands elsewhere, or make it right by FEMA standards.
So we will require them to be above the floodplain, okay, in our current, so that we don't get stuck in the middle of that, okay.
As I understand it right now. I don't know what kind of proposals are gonna come through the door next, but we've seen on the solar farms, we've seen some of these proposals go from high quality, good sites for that type of a use to now forests and wetlands and we saw that last month. Those sites are still available, and these are smaller sites. You know, we have a couple in county already, not unincorporated, but I think there's 1 or 2 in Marengo area and 1 in McHenry. They are containers. They are shipping container sizes, and they can file in and install right there.
Okay.
Should have ended with the annual report, a little bit more upbeat.
Have they talked about how they actually could, if there was a fire, is it chemicals, other than water to put it out?
That's mother, it's lithium. If the lithium batteries, if they're exposed to air, they will burn.
So you just
So
gotta
the
let it burn
oxygen's
out.
cut off.
Yeah, I think the most successful case study has been a concrete truck dumping on a car or something along those lines. Their plan of action is to cool everything else around it and let it burn. You know, deluge, any of those systems, they just don't work.
Underground vaults of some sort.
There's, to cut it, Yeah, so that's one of the technological advances that they've made, is each one of these are compartmentalized with sensors, heat sensors, they're all air conditioned. They have, think of a NASA suit, they have a cooling jacket that circulates over the batteries, and then when they have runaway, they'll have shutdowns. It doesn't prevent everything. They'll also have, I forget the term of it, but they have panels, venting panels on the top where once there is a fire, that'll pop out. That oxygenates the fire so that it can burn faster, and basically release that energy and just go up. Their best plan, as when we were sitting in this very room doing a presentation with the Mavis 4 and the Mavis 5, Lake County and McHenry counties, hazmat leads and Prairie Grove's deputy chief, was we're gonna let that burn and try like hell to make sure nothing else has an effect. So,
Okay, all good stuff. Anybody ready to get out of here? Future topics? Anybody want anything on next month's agenda particularly?
The film permit, I can give an update.
Oh, sorry.
Future topic?
Yep.
Sure. Last week I had a follow-up conversation with Lars Gary, Chief of Civil. We're still working with the state's attorney on how this should best be fit within the county's code. The state's attorney's position is saying it should be embedded within the UDO because it is in essence related to land use. We've had a different opinion in saying it should be administered more like liquor licensing. And so we're still trying to come to terms on that. That's really the disconnect. Their position is really the framework of the permit, the regulations of the permit, of the filming in the code, but the permit issuance itself, based on that, would be done administratively. We're saying that if there's we just have a difference of opinion. We are working through that, but I want you to say we are working on that. So we have not lost sight of it. Unfortunately, we don't have anybody knocking on the door to make a major motion picture within the county, but we still want to work diligently towards that.
Right, I'd encourage to get that done because there will be somebody and we don't want to be in that position of not having it ready.
Understood.
So,
Great.
and we're the side that's right on this. So,
All right.
okay, we good?
Motion to adjourn.
Now, motion to adjourn, second by Carl. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Dina, thank you.
Aye.
Yep.